In the dead of night, beneath the shroud of darkness, a group of would-be criminals crept through the shadows, their breath held tight in anticipation. Their target, the 12-year-old daughter of a powerful underworld figure, a pawn in a deadly game of greed and ambition. With calculated precision, they snatched the girl from the safety of her home, spiriting her away to an isolated mansion hidden deep within the heart of the forest. There, amidst the echoing halls and creaking staircases, they thought to hold her for ransom, a bargaining chip in their quest for fortune and power. But as the hours turned to days, their carefully laid plans began to unravel, revealing a chilling truth hidden beneath the surface. For within the walls of their makeshift prison, a darkness stirred, a malevolent force beyond their wildest nightmares. It started with whispers in the night, the eerie echo of footsteps in empty corridors. Then came the inexplicable disappearances, one by one, as the group found themselves hunted by an unseen predator lurking in the shadows. At first, they dismissed it as mere superstition, a trick of the mind born from the isolation and fear. But as the body count rose and panic gripped their hearts, they were forced to confront the terrifying reality of their situation. For the young girl they had thought to exploit was no ordinary child. She was something far more sinister, a creature of the night, thirsting for blood and vengeance against those who dared to defy her. As the would-be criminals fought for their lives against an enemy they could scarcely comprehend, they realized too late the folly of their greed. In the darkness of that isolated mansion, amidst the echoing screams of the damned, they would come face to face with their own mortality, as the true nature of their captive was revealed in a final, bloody reckoning. At the start of the film, we're introduced to Abigail, gracefully dancing ballet, unaware that she's being watched by 6 individuals outside. These professionals are poised to kidnap her. As Abigail enters her luxurious car and heads towards her grand mansion, the team executes a seamless abduction, administering tranquilizing injections to render her unconscious. Despite a brief moment of tension, they manage to escape with Abigail in a van. Arriving at a second mansion, they meet Lambert, the mastermind behind the operation. With Abigail's wealthy father as the target, they plan to demand a ransom of $50 million. Lambert instructs them to keep Abigail captive for 24 hours in the mansion, using aliases to maintain anonymity. Among the team are Zoe, the medic, Frank, the leader with a past as a police detective, Sammy, the hacker, Dean, the skilled driver, and Peter, the muscle, who was once bullied but now asserts dominance through intimidating means like kidnapping. During their journey, Joey, a member of the team, astutely deduces personal details about each member. Frank is revealed to be a former policeman, while Peter's history of being bullied shaped his current behavior. Sammy, already affluent from hacking, seeks thrill in the job, and Dean's exceptional driving skills surprise the group. In a surprising twist, Frank accuses Joey of being a drug addict, but Joey defends herself, attributing her frequent lollipop consumption to personal preference rather than addiction. Suspense mounts as Frank accuses Joey of drug addiction, his eyes narrowing in suspicion. But Joey's confident denial only deepens the tension, leaving doubts lingering in the air like an unspoken threat. Abigail's fear is palpable as she confides in Joey, who reassures her with a pinky promise of protection, revealing her own connection to a son of similar age. Abigail opens up about her estranged relationship with her father, portraying him as a dangerous figure. Sensing something amiss, Joey confronts Frank about Abigail's father, suspecting his involvement in criminal activities. Frank, alarmed by the revelation of Abigail's identity as Christoph Lazarus's daughter, confronts her at gunpoint to confirm her father's name. Abigail's confirmation sends shockwaves through the group, as Lazarus is infamous in the criminal underworld, feared akin to an urban legend. Frank recounts a harrowing tale of 3 officers allegedly killed under Lazarus's orders, instilling terror in the group. They fear retaliation from Lazarus's enforcer, Valdez, known for his brutal methods. Dean, however, remains skeptical amidst the group's escalating fear. In the ensuing chaos, Dean ventures into the basement, only to be attacked and killed, his severed head discovered by Sammy shortly after. The group suspects the handiwork of Valdez, prompting Rickles to abandon the ransom plan and attempt to flee with Peter. However, their efforts are thwarted by the activated home security system, trapping them inside with Abigail still handcuffed. With tensions running high, Joey interrogates Abigail, who cunningly fabricates a story implicating Frank as Valdez's associate. Joey, believing Abigail's deception, informs Rickles, who is subsequently killed in a gruesome manner. In a fit of rage, Joey accuses Frank, leading to a standoff where guns are pointed at each other. Amidst the escalating confrontation, Frank orders Peter to extract the truth from Abigail by force. However, Joey intervenes to protect her, inciting a brawl. In the midst of the chaos, Abigail manages to free herself from her handcuffs and reveals her true form as a powerful vampire. The group's attempts to shoot Abigail prove futile as she quickly heals from their bullets. In a desperate bid to contain her, they lock her in a room and flee for their lives, realizing the grave danger they face. As fear grips the remaining 4 individuals, they learn that both Abigail and her father are vampires, with Abigail responsible for the killings, not Valdez. Determined to kill the vampire Abigail, the group prepares makeshift weapons like garlic and stakes, with Joey opting to negotiate for their survival instead. Venturing to confront Abigail, they find her dancing with Dean's lifeless body. Despite their combined efforts, the traditional vampire repellents prove ineffective against Abigail's strength. In the ensuing struggle, Peter and Frank sustain injuries while attempting to fend her off. Realizing they must incapacitate Abigail to have any chance of survival, Joey suggests using a sedative injection. Despite Abigail's fierce resistance, they manage to subdue her long enough to administer the injection, rendering her unconscious. Amidst the chaos, Abigail bites Sammy, sparking fears that he may also turn into a vampire. To contain the threat, they lock Abigail in an elevator, hoping to prevent her from wreaking further havoc. As Abigail regains consciousness, the group confronts her, only to discover that Lambert works for Abigail, and the kidnapping was orchestrated at her behest. Despite her innocent appearance, Abigail reveals her centuries-old existence and her intent behind selecting these 6 individuals for her deadly game. Each member had unknowingly wronged Abigail's father in the past. Sammy's hacking led to the theft of funds from Abigail's father, while Frank, once a corrupt officer under Abigail's father's employ, later turned against him by aiding in the arrest of 3 corrupt officers. Similarly, Joey's father's partner fell victim to a botched operation performed by Abigail under the influence of drugs. It becomes evident that Abigail seeks revenge for her father's perceived injustices, prompting Joey to remark, "I know your vampire father doesn't love you anymore." Despite their actions, Abigail realizes that her father's affection is unattainable, regardless of her efforts to prove herself. As the group frantically searches for an escape route, Frank is tasked with keeping a watchful eye on Abigail. Sensing an opportunity, Abigail strikes a deal with Frank. In exchange for her freedom, she promises to reveal the way out and spare Frank's life, while eliminating the other 3 individuals. However, Frank reneges on the deal, refusing to release Abigail from her cage. Unbeknownst to the others, Abigail possesses the ability to break free at will, but chooses to feign captivity, reveling in the psychological torment inflicted upon her victims. When Frank's betrayal becomes apparent, Abigail prepares to exact her revenge, only to be interrupted by Joey, who shatters a window, allowing sunlight to stream into the room. As the morning sunlight bathes the room, Abigail's hand is engulfed in flames, demonstrating the lethal effect of sunlight on vampires. The group finds temporary respite from Abigail's threat, but they are acutely aware that nightfall will bring renewed danger. With no apparent means of escape, they must act swiftly to devise a plan before darkness descends once more. Joey's resistance to Frank's control becomes apparent as she takes a stand against him, determined to end Abigail's reign of terror. Despite being bitten by Frank, Joey retains her autonomy and attempts to strike back against the malevolent vampires. In a surprising turn of events, Joey and Abigail join forces, recognizing their common enemy in Frank. As Frank tries to drain Abigail's blood and solidify his dominance, Joey seizes the opportunity to retaliate. Despite being turned into a vampire by Frank's bite, Joey harnesses her newfound strength to defy him and protect Abigail. Understanding the stakes of their confrontation, Joey makes a bold move to end the chaos once and for all. With her resolve unwavering, Joey drives a stake into Frank's heart, dealing a decisive blow to the vampire who sought to control and manipulate them. Though Frank survives the attack, he is left bewildered by Joey's resilience and her refusal to succumb to his influence. In the midst of their struggle, Joey and Abigail forge an unlikely alliance, united in their determination to thwart Frank's ambitions and put an end to the cycle of violence orchestrated by Abigail and her accomplices. As the battle reaches its climax, Joey's courageous act of defiance marks a turning point in their fight for survival. As Abigail and Joey confront Frank at the mill, they manage to overpower him and drive a stake through his heart, finally putting an end to his reign of terror. With Frank's demise, Joey's status as a vampire is also called into question, as Abigail suggests that Frank's death may have reversed the vampire transformation he inflicted upon her. With Frank defeated and Joey's future uncertain, Zoe miraculously finds herself healed of her injuries and transformed back into a normal human. Christopher Lazarus, Abigail's father, arrives on the scene. Intent on seeking revenge, Christopher initially targets Zoe, but Abigail intervenes, asserting her authority and protecting her friend. In a surprising turn of events, Abigail defies her father's wishes and stands up for Joey, recognizing the debt she owes her for saving her life. Moved by Abigail's plea, Christopher relents and allows Joey to escape unharmed. Seizing the opportunity to start afresh, Zoe wastes no time in leaving the mansion behind. As Joey flees from the mansion in the van, her heart races with adrenaline, her mind spinning with the events that transpired within those walls. The sunlight breaks through the darkness, casting long shadows as she speeds away. The film concludes with a shot of her enjoying a lollipop, symbolizing a newfound sense of freedom and liberation from the horrors of their ordeal. With this, the movie ends.